Hello back everyone to a new awesome video of Blender 4.0. We're at part 29 and what a coincidence because 9 is the lucky number. How about that? We are now 91 people. At least at the point when I'm recording this, we're 91 people on this channel. And I thank you so much for that. I think that's awesome, honestly. I'm super impressed with your support, guys, and genuinely I hope this helps you. And yeah, this is pretty much awesome. I'm kind of lost for words, to be totally honest with you, because I saw in the weekend the jump, in subscribers, and I was really shocked, to be totally honest. But we're not here to talk about the number of subscribers right now, even though we will, because if you like the channel, you can leave a like on this video, you can subscribe to the channel because a lot more content will be out, and of course you can leave a comment to tell me if you like this or not, and if you want me to keep saying to subscribe or not. But I will probably say it anyway, so just you can write it though. However, in this video we'll actually continue from where we left off, which is with simulations. Yes, you heard that right. This is the last part before we do lighting and afterwards rendering. And again, there will be one more video which will be optional for all of you guys, but basically the render will be kind of the last video. So with that all being said, thank you so much again for being here, for clicking on the video, and let's actually get started. Alright, so here's where we left off, right? We did the snow simulation, which I think it ended up pretty nice. I think it's pretty good. But is that enough? No, it's not. Well, it kind of is in a way, but we can do much more than that. And by that, I mean, what do we have right here? Right in the front of our train, it's an amazing little smoke, right? Well, what can we do with some, well, it's a chimney, not a smoke. I'm dumb. I just ruined that for myself, didn't I? Well, yes, it's a chimney, and a chimney has smoke. So what will we do is a smoke simulation. We will simulate how that smoke is gonna get out. Now, there are a few ways to do that in Blender, and I'm going to show you only one, which is a very quick, simple, and I would say just a good way for some, little effects out there. But again, if you want to go like super professional about this, you can go in a lot more directions. I can give you one example. You can do the same effect, or at least an effect similar to this, by doing it just with textures. And yes, you heard me right. You can get textures with a transparent background and basically animate it so it seems like you have smoke moving, which is pretty cool. But that's not what we'll do. We will actually physically do this, which again, for those that don't know, and this has to be said by the way, because if you don't have a powerful computer, which I will say I don't think I have that much of a powerful computer myself, but it's good enough, that might create a problem for you guys, because of that, what's gonna happen, and it's actually gonna be super annoying, is that your render will probably not work, because we have a lot of materials. We have a lot of models with subdivision surface, which adds a lot of geometry, and also simulations by themselves will, make the computer think way more than you would think. Pun intended. No, it was not intended, by the way. It was a mistake, but I clarified it as a joke, because that's what I do. But yeah, again, it's just a quick way. That's why we do it this way, but there are definitely more optimized ways to do it. But the best looking ones are simulations that are actually physical, just like this one. So what you want to do is get an object. Doesn't really matter which one. I usually do it either with a cube, either with a sphere. It depends on you. Go to object, and at object we have these quick effects. Now, quick effect, it's a pretty cool tool. Well, it's a set of tools, to be honest. You have The quick fur, I think, was added with the Blender 3.6 because they had a really cool fur update kind of thing where you can have some geometry nodes for hairs, which is super useful and it looks so good. But also you have some simulations, which is explosions, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you, especially the one on the VFX, are interested in. Liquid, well, this is just impressive no matter what you're going to do with it. And smoke, which, for those that don't know, it's actually also a liquid simulation or a fluid simulation per se. Because actually, I'm going to just show you. I should rather do this. So when we do this, that's what should appear to you. Now, it might not appear to you like this, and there are a few reasons for that. The first reason is the scale, right? You have to check the scale because it might be too little for you, and because of that, you might not want this. And remember when I said that I usually use the... let me see something right here. I'm trying to think if I could do maybe this a little different. Because as you can see, it's not exactly giving me the best effect here. And like you can see, it's super squarish, and I don't know, I don't like that so much. Maybe I can do it a little better. And let's actually apply the scale and all that good stuff. And let's see it again. I mean, it doesn't look bad, but you know what? No, we're going to use a sphere. Yeah, to be honest, spheres usually do a little better when it comes to simulation of smoke. I'm just used to do it with the cubes, because I don't know. That's what I did in the beginning, and well, I kind of stuck to that. But yeah, no, the sphere usually gives a way better result, so I would go with this. So same idea, go get your sphere here and just quick effects, get a quick smoke. And as you can see, I actually don't see this. And why could that be? Well, I did just explain it. Increase your domain. And if you go, you have to get your animation to the first frame for it to reset. At least this is what works for me usually. And you know, set your domain so that it kind of fits what you want. All right. And now, basically, we're just going to play around, see where our smoke looks, you know, decent enough. And let me just, let me get the whole domain a little more restrained. See if that helps. Well, that definitely helps, but this looks weird, doesn't it? I never actually tried to do this, so this is kind of a first for me as well. So I'm going to I'm going to try to model this. It doesn't seem like the smoke simulation loves that. No, so I would rather stick to this, actually, to a more bouncier animation, something like that. But make sure it actually starts from the chimney, because as you can see, it didn't there. And as you can see, it's still too like straight, like it doesn't, you know, act like smoke, right? And here's what I was saying. So what we get is actually a modifier that writes fluid on it, which means we have a physics applied, a physics, well, I think it's a modifier or something like that, applied to it. Now, again, this is a fluid. Only the fluid can be either a gas or liquid. And this is a gas, I mean, obviously it's smoke. But what we need to do is actually, just like we did for the snow, right? You have to play a little bit with the physics of it. Now, vorticity, in my opinion, makes the smoke look way more, well, smokish. As you can see, let me actually, I'm putting back to 0, and look how the smoke looks right now, right? It's super straight. It doesn't really do anything. Just when it like hits its upper domain, and it cannot go any further, that's when it's basically kind of, doing something um, like it's affected by what's around it, which smoke doesn't act that way. But vorticity does that for us. It's like almost being affected by a sort of wind, right? And actually, zero point 0.2 was too little, maybe 0.35 would do a little better. And as you can see, smoke is much more violent and it works in a much more realistic manner. Actually, no, that's way too much. But just as I said last time, that's the thing with smoke. You gotta, play around with it, play around the values in any simulation, really, not just smoke or snow. It just depends on what you do. So let's actually get this. And now there's one more thing I like to put when I'm doing smoke, which is noise, right? Again, I think it gives it just that little thing. And I don't know if you noticed the difference. I didn't in the beginning, but it gives almost a new layer. And also it kind of rotates inside of itself in a way. If you look at it with the noise, the smoke seems to be affected by itself, and it almost does this really cool effect of the smoke actually trying to push itself out, which I think is super nice. And it does fit exactly what we want pretty well. And actually, let's get this way smaller, since that's what we want. Kind of like this. I think this can do just good enough. Okay. Now the thing that we need to see, it's gonna be this doesn't have like the snowhead dissolve time, so this is a little different, right? We have to actually check out, because again, I don't really know how this one goes. I never really modified it before. But as we can see, timescale, it's basically how fast this is. And actually, I think I liked it. Maybe this is too much. Maybe 0.6 works better. Because yes, it has to be a little bit, fast, but I think it's too fast for again, it's a train. Oh, okay. This is more or less perfect, I think. This looks good. So let's save this. So when you press dissolve, as you can see, the smoke will actually get down, and you can choose, I think it's the number of the frames or seconds. I'm not sure. Oh, being time, I think it's seconds, if I'm not mistaken. But the more you put on the number, so the bigger the number, the slower the smoke will get, which does actually make kind of a lot of sense. But as I did probably mention, and I'm pretty sure I did mention it before, it takes to do simulations, if you ask me, it's a very hard task, because you have to really try it out. It's a lot more trial and error than on everything else, if you ask me anyway. And I don't know, it's just hard for me at least. Now let's get this into shading, because I want to show you something else. This is basically the simulation right now. Maybe we'll modify it a little later. I don't know. I don't really think so. Usually, I don't really play so much with the smoke simulation or the simulations in general. I'm not that much of an experienced guy with the simulations, but I'm trying my best to learn from them. So for this, for example, right, the smoke doesn't have one color. And actually, I don't think I actually have a reference for this, but let me pull up some images right here. And as you can see, the smoke does not have one color. In almost no image does, the train smoke has one, and it wouldn't, right? It could not have one because it's just not how smoke works. Because it's, the much denser smoke that it's actually getting out of the chimney, and also it will be much more dark. And then the more it goes into the air, the more it dissipates. And of course, it's becoming, lighter because also the density it's more okay. You'll see what I'm talking about the density in just a second. Because yes, we will play with the density a little bit. But before that, we will use one of our favorite friends, which is the gradient texture. It makes a return. Also the color ramp. And now, just to make you see how it looks, this is what it looks like right now, right? Like it's half dark, half light. And it's on the wrong size, right? And again, of course, we need to change the Y. And actually, let's make it 90 degrees. All right, so I got a new idea. We'll actually reverse it. We'll make it minus 90 because that way the white smoke has a little more, advantage, let's call it. And also we can have another gray smoke to basically kind of play around with. And now, as you can see, we have the smoke, right? This is actually, let me take the snow simulation out in just a little bit to see only the smoke. And that's how this looks, which I would say it looks pretty good already, but we can do better. First, no smoke is actually super dark, right? Like it's a light, dark gray maybe, but that's kind of it. We can play with the density of the smoke, by the way. And the density is kind of how tough would be to look through the smoke, right? The less density, the more you can see through the smoke. And actually, let me pull a smoke train one more time. Did I? Okay, train smoke. And it's actually pretty dense. Like in every picture that we can see, the smoke is actually quite dense. Well, maybe not every picture. This one is not exactly the greatest example, but it is pretty dense as we can see. Which means this one kind of has the right idea of how it should look, which it's actually pretty good. And I wonder what happens. Okay, no, nothing good. So having this, let's actually maybe get this to 18 or something. I think it's too much. I'm just saying that it's looking like a little too dense right now. And this is pretty good, right? This looks pretty nice, but we can do even better. How can we do better? Well, what do we always mix with, well, sorry for this. Why do we always mix with the gradient texture to make everything look better? The noise texture, of course. Which texture can be as good as the gradient, if not the noise? I swear, these two are meant to work together. And let me just, this will be a little more simplified. Smoke? Not smoke, sorry. Um, noise texture than we are usually used to. So it doesn't seem like it makes that much of an effect, but it actually kind of does. But actually, let me put this to multiply. And it does kind of, if I play with the scale, actually, I think you can see it a little. It gives it a little more of that, these little like parts where they seem a little darker. And actually, if I put it to 0, the smoke seems way lighter now. But if I put it to 10, it does get it to look a little more alive, more like a natural smoke would, which we like. Anyway, I like. So that would be the smoke, right? This would be the texture of the smoke and how the smoke would look, which is pretty cool. But we can do even better than that. What can we do is actually pull, let me actually get, I don't know, maybe, actually, I think maybe a cube could do this time, hopefully. And let's pull it right here. And I want to give this a force field. Oh yeah, you heard it. All right, so now we have our smoke simulation. So how can we make our smoke, which is sorry, I was in OBS. How can we make our smoke that looks like this look even better? Well, what do we have? We have a train, right? What do trains do? They stay on the same spot? No, especially not when smoke is actually rising. It's usually when they're moving. So what we're going to do and what we have to do is actually get it some wind, right? To get the smoke to run. So I got a cube, and what I want you guys to do is go to physics and actually get a force field. Now the force field will come, in a lot of ways, but as you can see, we have the last option, which is wind. And actually, if you press on it, we get this, right? Which is pretty cool. And actually, let me also apply the rotation for the cube. And RI90. And now our wind is going to face where this arrow is, which is pretty cool because that means it's facing exactly what we need. And let's see what it does. So I did nothing to the wind. This is what it does right now. It's pushing, the smoke in the direction we are, which already looks pretty good, to be honest. But let's actually get a little more of the wind factor. So 0.2, let's see how that affects it. And that looks a little more realistic. That's pretty cool. What else can we put? Well, of course, noise amount, because, well, honestly, I think noise makes everything look better and a little more realistic. And actually, maybe a 0.4. Again, it makes it look a little more random and actually make a little more sense. You can see it already that it does kind of do that, which is pretty cool. And also the flow, maybe a 0.15, or maybe a 0.5. As you can see, it's going to slow it down a lot. And let's push the strength. And that looks pretty good considering what we have. But actually, let me get this back to 0, see what's going to happen. All right. And now let's actually get the cube and the wind a little backwards, kind of around here. And it will do the same thing. Now we can actually affect this by going to the fall off and pressing on the max distance. And actually, when you will increase this, you'll have a sphere. And the wind will affect all the radius of this circle here. So we actually want to get this. Oh, sorry, not the power. I didn't want to get that. You actually want to get this kind of to around maybe at 2 meters. Let's see what this does. And it pushes it back, but just a little bit. And actually, let's get it a little more. Maybe a 2.05. And yeah, this kind of the effect that we need, right? And maybe playing now with the flow, just a little bit. And as you can see, it affects it a little less, which actually I don't want. So no flow, but just go with the strength. And it does a pretty good job, right? It does a pretty cool stuff. I should stop the simulation. Now save your work, please. This is important. And yeah, just play with the values and get whatever you feel like it. I will increase the wind amount and maybe even the noise amount. It's like a 0.45 to make it just a little more random. I probably am exaggerating with this. And let's see actually how this looks in render view.
3 hours later.
That's how this will look. Now we could be doing something. Take this cube and actually deactivate the proportional editing there and get this a little larger. And apply the scale and all the good stuff. And let's see it actually from the get-go. So this looks much, much better, which I'm in love with. But as we probably didn't notice, there is one problem we have to solve, which is, of course, let me see, which is the gradient. The gradient is not affecting this anymore. and we need to actually kind of see why. And yeah, it's because of just the way these numbers will work now. We'll just have to increase this a little more. And something like this probably now should work. Yeah, now this looks pretty good. Of course, we can decrease this and, play around with the values as much as we need. And right now it looks kind of good. And yeah, this is it. This looks actually awesome. I did not expect it to look this good. If you again watch the video I did on the first simulation, I did not not waste, but I did not spend so much time on the simulation, and you can tell it doesn't look as good, and that's a shame because it's something you should really spend, because look how cool that is, and it's not a lot of work to do. At least in my opinion, it's just not that much, and it's something that's super doable, which will make your stuff look so much better. And again, if you are afraid of your computer not running this, we will use a trick. I will teach you how to use a trick to render this separately and then put it back into your animation. It's called comping. I think it's comping. I hope I'm not messing this up. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I recommend you watching CorridorCrew's channel. If you did not hear of it, you should. I will get their link into the description of this video because it's amazing. It's a really fun channel where they talk about VFX and stunt coordinations and stuff. And those people are absolutely fantastic. And I got some of this passion because of it, because of them, and also a lot of my knowledge about how to do sound effects is actually from them. And it's really cool. So yeah, I do totally recommend them. Check them out. And yeah, so we have our smoke, we have our snow right here. What else could we want? We're a few more things, because we don't have a scene now, do we? Everything is empty right now. What shall we do? Well, first we will get, not there. We should actually get the. Let me get a screencast. Even though it's kind of late for that, but I didn't really press buttons. I kind of just play with simulations for now, so it's kind of fine. So Shift C to put Shift C, sorry, to put your cursor in the center of the scene again, and Shift A, get a plane in there, and just scale this up. Now, I would recommend you don't scale this like crazy, and the reason for it, again, this will be part of your scene, so don't go crazy with it. And all right, I would say this is not bad. This is okay. Um, the wheels seem to stay right on the plane also. Pretty cool. Yeah. I think they are a little up, I think. Maybe, I can't tell. I think now. No, I think they were okay. Yeah, they're okay. It's fine. It's fine. Who cares? So, what can we do with this plane? First, we will apply the scale. And we will put some dirt and some snow on it. Now, the way to do this is actually simple but hard at the same time. So first, Control R to get the middle of this. And as you can see, our train is right in the middle as well. Control B to bevel this, and let's have it kind of like this, maybe something of the sort. All right. And the reason for this is because we will use two things for this, right? So first things first, we will give this thing material. And now I will introduce you to another add-on, which is an add-on called Real Snow. Let me spell it right for once. Real Snow. Right here. So Real Snow is an add-on that comes with Blender. You just find it with Real Snow, tick the box, and then you'll have it. And it's a pretty useful add-on for, well, real snow. That's not much more I can explain there. Um, so what it does basically, it get your body, the body that you will want, and right as this loads, okay, you can just select your body, which in our instance is the plane, and add snow. And it will take a little bit because besides the fact that it's adding kind of the material we created, this also has displacement. So the thing with displacement, as I did tell you before, is that it does work a little different from bump, which actually is by affecting the actual geometry. And as you can see, the real snow looks much better than our snow. Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you. It does look much better, but at the same time, it costs you much more. I do use it. I do totally recommend it, but take care with it because again, it will eat a lot of your GPU, and you might regret using a lot of it. And if it doesn't fit in the camera, my personal opinion is don't overdo it, because this is the problem with it. And actually, okay, I thought Blender crashed for a second. Um, this is the problem because the snow uses so much geometry here. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, you have to be careful while using this. And again, the way I personally do it is I usually just try to stick to as much as I need. And maybe from time to time I actually just take it down. Actually, let me pull everything back before I put the real snow in, because once you do, it's going to work way harder, and yeah, this will happen, which is not that nice. Um, so yeah, there are drawbacks, and this is why I didn't teach you how to put real snow from the get-go, even though I know it looks better, and the effect is definitely cool. But first, it wouldn't have helped us with the materials, at least not that much. Second of all, if you ask me, it would have harmed way more what we did than this. And what we will do is actually just take this edge and actually pull it in enough so that we actually don't see it here. So kind of about there. Same with this one. All right. So GX and kind of about there. And we can keep the rest because we might animate the train to, show up until the camera and, kind of stuff there. That could be it. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. It's going to be a very simple animation. So yeah. So we'll add snow again, which, yes, again, you will break the computer. Another thing you can do also is, you can actually cut pieces of the plane. So you can, do loop cuts and cut the parts that are not in the camera. It's a little bit of a dirty trick if you ask me, but it's really useful. I use it and it works like crazy good. All right, so now we are here. What else can we do? So, for those that don't know, what can we do is actually, well, maybe I should have put a snow afterwards. Now that I stay to think about it. Well, not that it matters now. Can we hide this? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, so having this, what we will do because we know what the real snow will do, but it will slow us down too much. So before we put that in, let's actually get the dirt in. So go to polygon and write free dirt. And no, actually this is not what we want. Free, maybe ground it was. I don't remember how I found it. Well, ground definitely is not a word. Um, because there are some really cool ones, and can't seem to find it. Come on. All right, so I couldn't find it in in the store, but it's ground tire tracks, which is free, or at least it was free. Let me actually check out if it's free. I might be lying to you guys. Ground tire. Oh no, it is free, right? I think it's free. Yeah, no, it's still free. It's still there. You can have better ones though. Like it's totally up to you if you want something else. But you do have an optional one which is free, which is pretty cool. And apply this, and this is how it's going to look. It's going to look pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie to you, but there's a reason it looks so bad, and that reason, of course, is we don't really have geometry to work with. So what I would like is select this, and actually let's subdivide it a little bit. So just that part, just the part where we have this. Maybe, yeah, maybe if, actually 10 times. Let's go 10 times. Okay, this is pretty cool. And now I will put 3 loops on each of these parts. I said 3 and I put 4 there, didn't I? Well, lucky that. And another mistake, and so on and so forth. Well, you got it. We need to add geometry, and I'm going to show you exactly why. And that's why real snow, by the way, was such an unnecessary addition for the train. Anyway, it's gonna be a necessary addition for this, but if it doesn't work, we can do it without as well. You just need the snow material, and you can kind of simulate that, but it does totally look better with the whole displacement and stuff like that. All right, so now we have this, right? So what's wrong? Well, first of all, we can go to the shading tab where we're actually on the render view. But okay if we're on the render view because we should be seeing something, which is the ground. The ground should have displacement, and I don't think it does. Let's actually get to the set. No, we do have there. Make sure on the polygon node, so the ground tire track, right? The displacement strength is set to 1. So it's using all the strength that the displacement node that this material has, it's using. And as you can see, it already looks much better, which is good, right? It's what we want. It's what we are here for. That's cool. However, there's one more thing we can do. First, we can put a subdivision surface. If you ask me, all right, I would put only one subdivision surface. I don't think it's in need for more. Oh, and that actually does affect us a little bit. So let me just get this edge here and stretch it like this. All right. And this should look, let's go back into the shading tab and save, please save. Very important. Yeah, towards the end, usually for my project, I do tend to save a lot. So as you can see here, it looks much worse than it does in the middle where we have our a geometry because of that set geometry. The reason for it is that displacement, again, works by actually affecting your geometry. And the less geometry it has to work with, the worse it works. And that's perfect. Now, with all this being done, what we need to do is get that real snow in. But we need to select this and this. Go to the real snow add-on, which I always forget where I have it. Actually, you know what? Let's get it in the layout mode and do that. Just like so. And where is it? Wasn't it here? Was I wrong? Was I crazy? Right here. Oh, it doesn't work. All right. Okay. So let's add some snow and see what we get. This is pretty exciting, isn't it? And this is actually what we do get, which, well, it doesn't look perfect or anything, but it looks actually pretty good. Alright, so now we have all this. We have our smoke simulation, we have our snow, and of course we also have our beautiful ground. So if we look at it, this is how it will look. And let's actually get it to maybe frame 80, where we will see a little bit of, you know, the smoke and stuff. And let's get it something like that. And no, I want more smoke. Is the smoke okay? Does it? Did it just break? No, okay, so it's fine. Alright, me from the future here, your favorite me probably. So one thing I did figure out after this, it's that for the smoke simulation, because we did not bake it, right? So you have to actually kind of let the simulation play so that you get your frame that you want. If you don't do that, and let's say you restart the simulation and then jump all the way to, I don't know, frame 100, that's just an example, your smoke will not actually render out because the actual simulation did not happen. So don't treat it as the snow simulation because it is not the same thing. You know, you have to let the actual simulation go by itself, do its thing, and then you can go, you know, to the frames you actually need. So that's kind of all from me. Bye, guys. Okay, so let's get it to 70. All right, let's save it. Get it from the front here. And let's see it all.
3 hours later.
All right, and here we are. This is it. This is the result. And I think this looks actually so cool. And again, yeah, we can play with the wind later on. We can actually play with all this, but I think this looks extremely nice. By the way, actually, we'll get this when we talk about lighting, which is actually probably the next video. We will also do geometry nodes. Yes, I did not forget about it. Probably also in the next video. That's not gonna take too long. But yeah, this is what we get, and this is, I would say, a pretty cool result. And I hope you also think that way. And if you do, that's great. If you don't, well, I'm sorry for you. So yeah, let's actually take this result and be glad that we have it and go to the outro. Alright guys, so actually that's me from the future. I actually finished the video and I was rendering the image to check everything out. And one thing, the real snow comes with an adaptive subdivision checked. So if your render doesn't work, which mine didn't, again, it's something I did specify in other videos, uncheck that and it will work. For some reason, I don't know if they changed this, but I guess the closer your object is to the camera, so if your camera is too close, then the adaptive subdivision adds way too much geometry in there. But yeah, it's pretty weird, and this will not let your render work. But uncheck that, everything works fine, and we're all good. Okay guys, here we are. This is the end of the video, and let me just tell you, I am so proud of you for getting all the way here, and I think our project looks much better than it did in the start. I think it looks much better than I did it the first time, and I'm really happy if you're here and you did it. I'm really proud of you if you're here and you actually got to this point, and I do hope you learned a lot. I do hope you're ready to get this almost to the finishing point. And yeah, thank you a lot for sticking around till the end of this video. Thank you a lot for at least clicking on the video. And again, let me just thank all of you guys. Those that subscribe, thank you so much. We're 91 people, so I'm so happy that you guys came along in my journey. On my journey, sorry. And also those guys that did not subscribe, you should think about it. But also let me thank you for at least clicking on the video and maybe not subscribing, but hopefully thinking about it in the future. So with all this being said, thank you guys so much again, and yeah, again, be proud of yourselves for getting all the way here. I hope you stick with Blender and do a lot more 3D stuff, and I can't wait to see your works. And yeah, that is kind of it from me. I hope you guys will have an amazing week, and also I will see you guys in the next video on Wednesday. So see you guys very soon.